The van people, or the people driving the bus that spotted the van, I want to point something out that could possibly help, especially if they can enhance the video using their secret methods, the detectives and such. Also, a big issue is that there were several other campers in the same area, and they could have pictures of the creek directly across that they might not realize are important, or videos. Who's the campers? They're right above the creek. They could have easily walked over and took a nondescript video showing the creek, or possibly pictures. Okay, now here's one possibility that they might be able to do, is recreate the spotting the van video, or if there's other videos or pictures that exist where the people don't know they might be important, they could recreate the video and look across the creek, which the bus people, it does show across the creek. It so happens that the camera sees across the creek exactly where they would have been. So if they recreate it and there's a light area such as a tent set up, they weren't buried deep in the trees as if to hide themselves. They recreate it, but the light area is now missing. That could show that the tent was already set up. Now remember, when they spotted the van, it was not dusk, but it was approaching. It was like 6:30, I believe. So it was approaching dusk. That increases the odds that they were not in the van, that they were already camped out across the creek, because they wouldn't have done it at night. After they got back from their fight at the Mexican place, they wouldn't have done it at night, nor would it have been premeditated, because they weren't hidden in among the trees, and also there was remnants of a fresh campfire. Also, she was laying out in the open. There apparently was no attempt to hide her. She was wearing one of her favorite sweaters. That increases the odds that they were kind of bundled up in clothes after it got colder in the dark. Possibly someone could have seen the campfire, and they don't realize the importance of it. Now the tent. Let's look at the tent. They went across apparently and set up the tent and had a fire. Now if it's premeditated, like he led her across there to kill her, they wouldn't have done no such thing. They wouldn't have done any such thing. So I do believe it gives credence that a fight developed in the dark, and that's when it occurred, and then he hightailed it, picked up the tent, and went back. That's the same tent where her video said, we just plan on hanging out in the tent all day. It was some other location, but that's the same tent. Okay, now what could help convict him as it pertains to the tent? That, first of all, if the tent was thrown into a dumpster on the way back, the cops could say, if you didn't do it, then why would you throw away a perfectly good tent? So that could add circumstantial evidence. If the tent was there in the van or on top of the van, then they could inspect it, using their molecular stuff and stuff they found at the site of the body to trace that tent. Now, they said the tent was set up and the opening was facing the mountains. Okay, that also adds evidence, because in the area they could tell people getting in and out of the tent and stuff, so they know the opening was faced towards the mountains for the view. That also adds that it wasn't premeditated. He would have just got her over there and did what he wanted, but I don't believe it. I believe, especially after the Mexican restaurant, that a fight did develop. The tent was already set up as dusk approached. They had already crossed the stream, and a fight developed. So there you go. There's some stuff on the tent being set up, and it had been 2 weeks. It had been a couple of weeks, and with rain and everything, and so who knows what they're able to glean from the site, like hairs, fibers, stuff like that, footprints, stuff like that they do. What if something was dropped, in the dark, and there was something there? Like, who knows? Who knows what it could be? But there you go. Let's hope that they have other video or can enhance this one. And then look across to the other side and then recreate from the position of the camera. Well, now that light spot, it's not there anymore. Therefore, that proves that tint was there.